What's up everybody, welcome to part 3 of Shredder's Revenge. In today's episode, we're going to take control of Donatello, the brains of the operation. With his trusty bow staff in hand, Don has the longest attack reach in the game, however he is slow to boot. Donatello in these games is almost always the most beginner-friendly character, because of his extended range and his tendency to literally reach across the screen and hit people. Anyway, Vernon wants us to look for 5 VHS tapes. Or 4, we already got one of them.
Roof running reptiles.
Hey! This way, guys!
New foot soldiers right off the bat. Spearmen. They're good at keeping you at a distance. But so am I. You're better off just jump kicking these guys. There are bombless pits in this area, but you don't die in one hit when you fall into them. However, you can throw the enemies into them and they do die in one hit.
What a trip down memory lane.
Another diary entry. I wonder what this one's all about. It probably has something to do with how Don is extremely powerful in this game. And it looks like we got more spearmen, but that guy just fell off the rooftop on his own. Looks like the case of some Golden Axe AI right there. This billboard will fall on top of you, but if you're using the special or just at the very bottom of the screen, you can avert damage. And the good thing about Donatello's special is that it covers the most screen space, but it also sucks enemies in towards him to cause extra damage. So an enemy can still be a few feet away from Donnie and still get damaged because his attack basically works like a vortex. Casey Jones, spoiler alert, he's in this game too. Casey Jones has a similar attack to Donatello's. And honestly, Casey Jones is just a better Donatello. He's got the same amount of reach, but he's faster, which makes him broken. I can see why they made him an unlockable character. Casey Jones is just absolutely overpowered in this game. I will eventually do an extra video showing off Casey and the added features in arcade mode, as well as the other endings too. Well, there's slight deviations in the endings, but they're mostly the same, it's just the different characters. You see how overpowered that screen nuke is? That is deadly stuff right there. Deadly stuff. Now I'm not sure what's in that console right there in the middle of the screen. I'm pretty sure it's just a bento box. The bento boxes are only worth points in this game. And as far as I'm aware, in story mode you don't really get lives from points, so yeah, they're just kinda there. Oh good god, it's the swordsman. They can block and counterattack you, but they have the same fatal flaw as the guys with the katana in that they can impale their swords into the ground and get stuck. Donnie's taunt is him playing a classic Game Boy. There's always time to play classic Game Boy, even in the heat of battle. The question is what game is under like 2 minutes to play? I guess Tetris? Yeah, Donnie seems like the type to play Tetris. You can use the construction cones as weapons. Too bad I tossed one of them off the screen by accident. This section can be a tad bit annoying. You got these spear foot soldiers and a giant pit in the middle of the screen. You also got this guy with the sword trying to butt in on occasion. Alright, he's down. Let's collect this VHS tape and be on our way.
This was for a high-risk assignment, but I love danger.
Ooh! Well, there's a construction box there. Radical. Should be a few screens away from the boss, which is both from Bebop and Rocksteady. Finally, we get to fight the two of them together. And their boss fight is... well, we're gonna see in a couple of seconds. Oh yeah, the slide maneuver works for the sword guys. I think it even works on the spear guys too. But you know me, I just like to throw caution cones at enemies.
No see 'ems, I eat 'ems. this time! We're gonna stomp you wimps!
Bebop and Rocksteady maintain most of the attacks they had in their solo boss fights. However, they can still harm each other with those attacks. They do have a couple of different tricks up their sleeves though. I believe it's Bebop, he'll fire all around himself in a 360 pattern. And I'm not sure what Rocksteady does, to be honest. I think he does something similar, but he has a spread shot. There's usually a tell whenever Bebop is about to do that 360 attack. But right there, he was tapping his gun like he's trying to reload it. I still don't know what Rocksteady's special move is. Is it just the grenades? Because it seems like he's firing normally. That's about it. You can also get the two to ram into each other, which is very helpful because that will allow you to get some cheap shots in. About to demonstrate right here. Oh, he didn't even press the circle button in time, but they still got stunned. That's the Mutant Warhawk down. Now all I need to do is go after Rocksteady. It's a lot easier to deal with Rocksteady without the added goons. He just runs back and forth and back and forth, unless you're far away, in which case he will use the gun. On occasion, you will use some of his grenades, which are not really that lethal if you're far away from them. But other than that, Rocksteady is very simple on its own. Alright, while you're sprinting over there, let me play this stage in Donkey Kong real quick. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Raph has the quickest taunt in the game. And it's really just a minuscule amount of seconds that really matters, but still, I think Raph is the quickest taunter.
My horns!
And that's episode 7 in a nutshell. Or should I say half shell? Anyway, the next stage is probably one of my favorites because of the music, just like Mall Meltdown.
Come on, let's go!
Here we go. We're about to enter some 90s epicness.
Panic in the sky! Just a minute! Striking vortex!
What's up? In the city, I'm fired up and I'm feeling giddy. This rumble in the air, thunder. This batterack's gonna take you under. Like a shooting star blazing through the skies on fire. Breathing fire, catching up to you. I'm bringing on the fire. Blow you up like dynamite.
This music's so good. God! Enough of this. This is too perfect. I rarely say that anything's perfect, but this is perfect. The soundtrack in this game is just phenomenal. And this is still not even the best song in the game. There's still more to come. This is the Turrican of Turtles games. The Turrican of Turtles games. Okay, yeah, that's a tongue twister. But anyway, this stage is another side-scroller, kind of like episode 3 was. And you got the turtle blimp giving chase to what appears to be Wingnut. Wait, Wingnut? I forgot he was a villain too. What? They're just pulling all sorts of obscure villains out of nowhere. Wingnut? I don't think he was a character since 1993. Unless he appeared in one of the newer shows like 2012 or something. I've not seen much of 2012. I thought it was okay. Seen a couple of episodes. I was like, yeah, that's a thing. But it's not for me like the 2003 or 1987 show. Mainly the 2003 show for me, just because of how dark and... Oh, I missed the pizza. What the fuck? Just for how dark and grim the 03 show was. I mentioned in a previous part Baxter Stockman losing a plethora of his body parts until he was reduced to a brain in a jar. And that show was for kids. Man, the 2000s were hardcore. It's not to say that the 2012 or the newer show, Rise of Turtles, I'm not saying that those aren't hardcore. My younger cousins love those shows, so if they're still going strong, then hey, that's very good. And that's not even mentioning the live-action movies and movie crossovers like TMNT and Batman, which is superbly good. It was way better than I thought it had any right to be. And you got the Turtles movies. The first two are classic. The third one is kind of trash, but I like the trash. And the fourth one in 2007 was good. And then there was another one too. I'm forgetting what it was. Oh. I just turned into William Shatner. The Michael Bay films. Yeah, no, screw those movies. They sucked. They don't feel like Turtles at all. That's probably why I forgot about them. Anyway, Wingnut is kind of challenging in that he shoots a whole bunch of missiles, and he also got his helicopter jetpack troopers guys. Foot soldiers. Wingnut does have a counterattack in which he swoops his wings and creates a wind gust. That doesn't really do that much though, it just knocks you away.
Just a minute.
Damn it, done! Now's not the time for Game Boy, we gotta fight. These patterns are actually a bit stricter than they look. Oh yeah, I just slid into that one by accident. Oh god, I forgot he had this attack. So, similar to the Skyver from Mega Man X5, which is coincidentally my next playthrough after this game, he will fly across the screen and try to attack you. There's no real set pattern on where he flies from, so you need to stay in the middle just to anticipate where he's coming from. Come here, let me whack you with my bow staff. I always thought Donatello got cheaped out with the weapons. He gets a stick. It's just a bow staff stick. Everybody else got cool weapons like nunchucks and side daggers, but Don's got a stick. I guess Don's happy with it because bow staffs are non-lethal, and katanas kill people, so there you go.
Down there, by the beach.
Alright, so Wingnut just crashed on Coney Island. Let's see what's up.
Crisis at Coney Island.
We'll just leave Wingnut groveling on the floor. He'll be alright. Anyway, we got new enemy types, and that's the Plunger Gun Foot Soldiers. I was gonna make a Quackshot joke, but that would have been too obvious. These guys can be annoying when they're far away. And when they're close, they try to hit you with the butt of their rifles. And they're very quick with that hit, too, so... yeah. They're not even the worst foot soldier enemy types. There's one more in this stage that... it's kind of a nightmare to deal with. Thought there would be something in the trash there. Seriously, guy? Donald Duck called he wanted his goddamn plunger gun back. Okay, so maybe I did make the joke after all. You're gonna see discolored tiles on the floors. If you step on them, you'll get hit, so be careful. These guys with the halberds are very slow, so you can just take them off from behind or use your charge attack. Or use the environment. Because as you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is an environmentalist show. Don't do drugs. Wait, what? Which begs the question, is mutagen some sort of allegory for dumping toxic waste into the environment? Or is that just, you know, a mutagen? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking way too deep about this. But then again, this was the 80s and 90s and Captain Planet was a thing. I never really understood Captain Planet. That's the one show I went back to and I was like, I don't get it. How is this show even this popular at all? That's my indifference to Captain Planet. I think Masters of the Universe is better if you're looking for that type of show. Actually, anything from the 90s and 80s is better than Captain Planet. The Power Pizza lasts a long time in this game. I remember in Hyperstone Heist specifically, the pizza power is not as long. It was like 5 seconds at most. Yeah, it was a super short pizza time for the game on Genesis. Not that you really need it. And here's the advanced Shadow Foot Soldier. And they're a pain in the ass because each time you hit them, they jump about and throw their kunais at you. Or sais. Yeah, they throw sais at you. You can trip them up with the stage hazards like the caution cones, or if you're quick enough you can hit them, then they'll jump into the air, you can hit them again and they'll trip. But Donatello is unfortunately not that quick enough. So I have to baby tap them with my bow staff. Why didn't Donatello get swords too? And speaking of which, the Turtles were a subject of censorship back in the 90s, particularly in Europe. I'm not sure, but Mikey had his weapons changed from nunchucks to... I don't know what it was. Was it like a grappling hook? Why was it a grappling hook? That makes no sense. This even extended to the name of the Turtles, which until, I believe, 2004 were Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. What? UK got it bad. I hate to wonder what their theme song was if they couldn't use Ninja in the title. I'm guessing it's relatively the same as the Dragon Ball Z theme in Canada. That can only say 3 words, and that was Dragon Ball Z. Like, that theme song was just bad. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball. Anyway, this mini game here has you popping a balloon for a bento box. You can pop the other balloons, but there's really no point as there's nothing else inside them. And yeah, going back to the censorship thing, because the first movie was supposedly violent, they toned down the violence of the second movie. And maybe it was just me, but I didn't think the first movie was all that violent. I think it had more to do with emotional trauma rather than actual physical violence. But yeah, they still toned down the second movie's violence. It was more slapstick and secret of the use. Instead of nunchucks, it was sausage links. And there's a Vanilla Ice sequence. I don't care what anybody says. I love the Vanilla Ice sequence in that movie.
You don't be escaping. Come on, man.
Oh my god, it's Leatherhead. I love Leatherhead. He's my favorite villain. Well, next to Shredder and Krang. But he's my favorite villain. With his down south Louisiana accent, Leatherhead is actually kind of dangerous in that he can escape into 5 of these potholes, or manholes, and ambush you if you're not careful. You can also fall into the manholes if they're still open, which prompts a classic, "This cave gives me the creeps" message that were in the older games. But the good thing about this boss fight is, Leatherhead will eventually give you a free pizza for some reason. I don't know, he dug it out of the sewers or something. Or the punk frogs give it to you. You know, I always thought Leatherhead gives you the pizza, but I wasn't even paying attention to the punk frogs in the background on the roller coaster. You don't want Leatherhead to get too close on you, as he'll chomp you down and drain some health that way. Other than that, he's got his tail swipe, which is a counterattack more than anything else. And the punk frogs can also throw barrels of flammable liquids at you. I'm sure they can hit Leatherhead too, but it didn't that time. With Leatherhead on his last legs, he'll attempt to do this attack a bit longer than usual.
I feel like gumbo.
Just a minute.
Wow.
Wait, let's go.
Nice! We just made Leatherhead into a purse. And we managed to get all the punk frogs too.
Hey, come back here with that android torso.
Bodacious! You've unlocked a special request from the punk frogs. Collect their disgusting bugs. There are 8 of these bugs scattered throughout the city. You collect them all, you go back to the Punk Frogs, and you get 100 points out of it.
Kinda need your help.
But I'm going to worry about that next time, because in the next part, we're going to take control of another turtle. A more aggressive turtle. I'll see you then.